Hey there, it's Tuesday, October 14th, and I've decided to turn this channel into a little bit of a vlog or video blog, a word I didn't know for a long time, because there's so much planning, and I know that anyone that is considering moving to another country has to go through this, so I thought it's a valuable process. So as I mentioned in another video, in a couple of days, I'm going down to Orlando with my daughter, and we're going to attempt to get this type of identification for her. Whoops, it's upside down. It is a Dominican ID called a cedula. This was mine from when I lived there, and it says no vota, which means I'm not a citizen, but it's the national identification. So for that, we need her original birth certificate, which we have, thankfully, in Spanish and stamped and all that stuff in Santo Domingo, and her and a certain amount of money and her current ID. And that should be enough because she is over 18. But typical of the bureaucracy of Latin America, and from what I've heard, Spain has a lot of this too, not all the questions are going to get the same answer. So online, it told me one thing. When I called the consulate, it told me another thing. But the Dominican ID comes from a place called the Junta Central Electoral. And they said, well, they need a copy of the father's cedula. The problem is that he is living in New York as a resident of the U.S., and all his Dominican paperwork is in Santo Domingo. So he knows his number, but he doesn't have, I can't get a copy of it. And where it's located, I mean, they're poor, they don't have access to, it would be very complicated to try to get a copy. So I'm just hoping that's not going to be a snafu, because we need to get the ID before we get the passport, which was something else that wasn't clear in the beginning. And then the reason why we're getting the passport is because she's already an American citizen. So people have said, well, why do you care about it? It's because she has an advantage. If she enters Spain as a Dominican citizen, she can become a Spanish citizen, which is the same as being a citizen of Europe, meaning she could work anywhere in Europe in 2 years. So that is why we're doing that. And hopefully it will work out. So fingers crossed on that. So we're going Thursday. We're going to go to the Junta Central Electoral, hopefully get the ID. Then the next day go to the consulado and get the passport, which will have to be mailed to her, but assuming everything goes through. And then we're going to go do some other things before we come back.